Welcome everybody, Tim Anderson here, aka Renfail, and if you have been around my channel for any length of time, you know that I love sword and sorcery, and I love the Conan franchise, from the books to the films. Big fan of this, but I traditionally don't like survival games or PvP games. And I vaguely remember when this game first came out, when Conan Exiles first dropped, I gave it a shot and did not like it at all. But I noticed that recently it's been making waves in social media for the most recent update that came, the Sorcerer update, which I believe is Chapter 3. And considering it was on Game Pass, I said, what the hell? I'll give it another shot and see what this game is all about, see if any changes have been made. And I'm happy to say that there are quite a few things that have made it far more approachable for a newbie like me, someone who's not traditionally into the PvP and survival aspects. So, welcome to my first impressions video of Conan Exiles. I am playing on the Xbox Series X as part of Game Pass, so take that into consideration as we dive into this first impressions video to see if maybe this is something that you might want to consider looking into in 2023. Before we get any deeper, and as we continue to enjoy the cinematic opening sequence here, if this is your first time here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update here on the channel. Don't forget to check out all the other playlists here on YouTube. I do lots of different things, play lots of different games, do books, films, and show reviews and beyond. We also have a Discord, a Patreon page, so you can support in any way that you can, any way that you choose. Hopefully you do. Let's get into the actual gameplay and talk about what does Conan Exiles look like here in 2023. So first and foremost, I am playing the free-to-play version that came with Game Pass, so I don't own any of the expansion packs, but you do have a variety of options when you start the game. You can choose to play online, or you can choose to play offline in a single-player or co-op adventure setting, which was not available, as I recall, when I first tried this game. So I'm choosing to just dive into this as a single-player game, and then once you get into the actual Exiled Lands, you can choose the difficulty level, which I also don't remember being available when I tried this game for the first time. So you can do civilized, decadent, or barbaric. I'm definitely going with the civilized option because I want it to be on easy mode. So you'll notice I get more experience. You don't need to drink all the time. Food spoils slowly. You do more damage to enemies. You don't drop items on death. Buildings don't become abandoned. The purge is not going to attack your base. So this is the easy mode for people like me who are babies, Care Bears. And from there, we're going to dive straight into the game and see what this is like. So character creation is pretty standard. If you've ever done a character creation process in any other game, it's the same. You're going to choose a face. You're going to choose a background. You're going to choose an avatar representation, your hairstyles, your religion, all these different things. Most of these have to do, especially when it comes to the religion as an example, and the race, especially the race. These are role play options for those of you who might be familiar with the background and lore of the world of Conan, from the Stygians to the Himalayans to the Hyrcanians, the Kushites, the Khitans, Nordhelmers, Picts, Shemites, the Darfari, the Vinian, Ismorians, Zingarian, so on and so forth. I am going with a traditional Sumerian who worships Crom, but hey, it is what it is. You can pick whatever you want. From there, it's just getting through character creation. I didn't find this to be totally overwhelming. I know there's nudity options in this game. I don't have any of those turned on because obviously I'm making a video and I don't care about that kind of stuff. I know it's a big deal to some people. It's not to me, but it's there for those of you who want to pay attention to it. Finally, getting into some gameplay, because I know this is where most people are going to want to focus their time. So I've created my character. We're doing a nice little pan shot here. We can hear some creepy noises. I'm assuming those are creatures somewhere in the distance. I made my guy really ripped. He's probably too ripped. But hey, low body fat. He's only surviving off of insects and, and bugs here. But I've been taken down off the cross by none other than Conan himself. And up at the top right, you're going to notice I've got take your first steps, investigate the smoke nearby. It's giving me some guidance with the top right menu. Now, it probably could have been better if it was a pop-up in the middle of your screen. It took me a minute to realize that this was prompting me to go do things because I wasn't paying attention to the top right. But once you figure out that you're supposed to be following the instructions on the top right of the screen, it really does a good job of guiding you through the entrance of the game. And there is a sort of underlying backstory here, which I don't remember that being the case when I first played the game when it came out years. And again, I did not last, by the way, when this game first came out. I think I gave it maybe 3 or 4 hours and was like, yeah, this sucks. I'm not going to play this game. But I don't remember any of these sort of like tutorials from back in the day. So my memory of this is completely irrelevant. So for now, we're just based off of what I'm playing as of right now, which is, March, whatever date this is, 2023. What is the date? I don't even know. Couldn't tell you. March 20 something. 27th is what it says on my calendar. So once you figure that out, you can drop down and you literally from here, it's just following the instructions. Investigate the smoke nearby. So we're going to run down the path, and now it wants me to search for supplies. And from there, it teaches you how to loot. It teaches you how to harvest. It teaches you how to craft and go from there. It's very simple. It's very basic. It's just clicking X to open up chests and loot bodies and so on and so forth, and continue to make your way down the road. One thing the game doesn't do a very good job of early on is explaining all this stuff at the top, like the knowledge and the attributes and the stats and the journey and the clan and the followers and so on and so forth. But essentially, you have to spend knowledge points to learn recipes from these basic areas. And they do get into it a little bit deeper into the game, but when they first send you in here to go to the attributes tab, like you have no idea where you're supposed to go. They just tell you to go spend points, and they don't give you a lot of information on the other tabs. Now, later on in the tutorial, they do, but essentially, you've got your points here. You can spend your points. You're going to unlock passives along the way. So however many, if you put more points into strength, you'll get passives in that. The agility line, the vitality line, the grit line, and so on and so forth. This is standard RPG fare for those of you who have ever played RPGs in the past. So these are ways that you're going to be able to level up your character. Now this is where I started to explore around in the menu a little bit and started to find things like, oh, there's a journey tab, which apparently I'm on the survivor option right now, which is the very first steps. But then beyond that, you're going to get into the warrior line, the archer line. These are the various journeys that you can take, which are essentially each one of these is a tutorial path that gives you a whole bunch of stuff, and at the end of it, you'll get a reward for completing that journey. You've got your map. Then there are the challenges. There's also a battle pass for this game, which I wasn't really aware of. And then there is, of course, the bazaar, where you can choose to spend real life money if you want on cosmetic gear and different items, like Crom coins, if you want to go into the item store and get the DLC as well. But this doesn't apply to me, but I'm just showing it to you so that you have an understanding of the various options that exist. Getting back into the knowledge tree, this was a little confusing to me in the beginning, but essentially each one of these options, if you look when you've selected on the left, on the right hand side, it's going to show you the items that you would learn once you've trained it. So it might be one item, it might be two, like this one teaches greatsword, warhammer, so on and so forth. So you'll be prompted which ones you need to train as you're going through the tutorial. Just understand that once you've clicked something, you spend a point to train it, and you unlock whatever recipes are on the right hand side, and then you got to go back to the crafting menu in the main inventory section to actually craft those items. And that was something that wasn't spelled out, so it took me a little bit to learn what it wanted me to do here. But once I figured it out, it was more or less self-explanatory. Now, given that this is a first impressions video, I'm not spending a ton of time getting deep into like the combat systems or everything else, but it's very, very simple. You can make different types of weapons, whether you want to do two-handed sword, sword and shield, bow, daggers, whatever you want. I went with two-handed sword. It's very rudimentary, small attack, large attack, defend, and from there you can skin corpses and harvest, because this is a survival game after all. Craft your weapon, craft your armors, get meat from the mobs, use that meat to get stats, to feed yourself, to sate yourself, so on and so forth. If you've ever played a survival game, it's going to be very, very self-explanatory on what you're supposed to be doing here once you follow the tutorial options that are prompting you to do various different things. Now, once you finish up the main journey, you actually unlock multiple journeys, which are the various tutorials that you can follow that teach you how to play the game. So I finished the base tutorial in this first impressions video, and from here I went in and I'm able to go, okay, now I want to go down the next journey line, which I'll probably do because honestly, I had a little bit of fun this time around. It was definitely more of an RPG this time around as opposed to a brutal survival game, and that's because of the options they've changed over the years. So I will be doing an additional review for this game after I've put a little bit more time in, so hopefully you'll be tuning in for that, which means you need to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update because I do lots of different things on this channel: RPGs, MMORPGs, survival games, book reviews, TV show reviews, film reviews, and beyond. Hopefully you can support. Hopefully you've been inspired to support. You can do so with memberships on the channel starting at $3 a month. Lots of private videos. We do cool stuff for our members. You can also do super chats, super thanks. There's a Patreon page. There's a Discord channel. You can choose your favorite option, your favorite way to support, and hopefully we'll see you later on down the line in another episode, either for another game or when I come out with the full review of Conan Exiles on the Xbox later on down the pipeline. Until next time, everybody, stay safe and happy gaming.